Hey everybody, this is Wayne, and I have a herniated disc in my back. And I usually try and film things and record things and just, document things so that it helps other people out there. So if you have something like this or you're going through something like this, if you have a disc that's been compromised or something has happened to it and it's now pinching a nerve in your back like mine is, this is kind of the process, and I'm giving you a reflection as an individual, as a person, as to what this actually means and how I'm going to be able to deal with it. And if you can take some tips from this and learn about it and helps you with your journey, then great. We're also going to go over some business stuff too. How does this affect my business? I literally cannot work. It's too painful. I can barely move right now. And that is due to this disc. I'm going to go ahead and pop this right up here. And if you look at the picture here, you can see on one side that we've got there's like a little white area. And then on the other side, on the right-hand side, or on this hand side here, where the finger is pointing, that is my disc that is actually pushing against the nerve root. So if that nerve root's here, it's just basically squishing and crushing it against the back of my vertebrae or my spine or in the bone, and it has nowhere to go. So there's too much material around that nerve, and because there's so much material, it's pinching, it's irritating, it's aggravating, and that's what sends the pain down the leg. That is that pain that you feel when it comes back. Mine goes back around towards the hip and the glute, and then comes down towards the backside or inner side of the thigh, and then runs down into the calf and into the foot. As of right now, just being seen by the doctor, if I were to try and walk on my heels, I can do that no problem. But if I walk on the balls of my feet or on my toes, not going to happen. As soon as I put pressure on that left leg, it collapses. It's done. It's not having it. So that means that weakness is occurring. I'm losing strength and mobility in that leg. I literally drag it around with me when I'm walking, or at least that's what it feels like. So now that we've gone to the doctor, we've got an MRI. Here's another picture right here of what it looks like from the side, and you can see that line drawn through. That is the disc and the bulge, and you can see how it's not bulging on the other ones, but it's pushing out into that nerve and root canal there. It's very bad, extremely painful. I mean, really painful. Sitting is the worst thing that I can really do, unfortunately. But I'll give a couple more examples here. Here's one of a picture of or a model of the spine. Now it has a disc herniation, that red portion, but it's not it's not the same disc. It's a disc that's higher than mine. Mine's the actual one that attaches the spine, L5-S1, where it attaches to the pelvis there. That's the one that I really have. And then that herniation in that vertebrae doesn't really, it's not going in the same direction. It's not going out towards the nerve root. Now, I want to explain a few things. Herniated discs are extremely common. I mean, probably most of the people out there actually have a herniated disc. It's just like if you picture a jelly donut in between your vertebrae. What happens is there's a fibrous outside, and I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I want to go ahead and just put that out right now. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I am telling you and sharing with you my story of what I've learned so far. So there's like a little jelly donut that's in between those vertebrae, and then what can happen is there's that fibrous material that kind of holds that jelly in there, that's the cushion between your spine, so it's not bone on bone, but it allows for flexibility so we can move. Obviously, if our spine was a rod or a solid bone, we wouldn't be able to bend over, we wouldn't have as much mobility as we have. So you can see that there, and then it's kind of going in a different direction other than mine. But mine's putting pressure directly right on that nerve root, that sciatic nerve that goes down the leg. What does that mean exactly? Well, it means that we're going to have surgery. It was actually quite bad enough that they were going to literally put me in surgery tomorrow after seeing the doctor on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. They were going to do it 5 days later. But insurance needs to approve it, and in order for insurance to have the amount of time that they need to prove it, because this is a ludicrously expensive surgery, that's just how it's working out. That's just what the insurance requires. So they're going to take some time to do that. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. But then after the surgery, so right now I can only sit for about 30 minutes. If you can imagine, driving a car, going into work, doing any of those things and needing to sit, sitting is the worst. It is the worst thing because it puts your pelvis at a weird angle and it puts all that pressure of your torso right there on your spine. And it doesn't give cushion like when you're standing up. When you're standing up, I'm in a much better position because my pelvis isn't rolled backwards and it's kind of in a bending motion. So just imagine only being able to sit for 30 minutes a day, okay, if you can imagine that. The rest of the time I actually literally have to lay down. So I can only go do a few errands, and then I have to take a walk, and then I can continue my errands, and then I get home and I have to take a walk. Walking is the best thing that I have found for this particular injury. Walking feels great. It's a little painful to get going, but after you get going, it actually works out really, really well. And it feels good, and it's strengthening all of those muscles in there. So let's just kind of understand what's happening here. I'm not moving as much, so my muscle mass I'm losing it. You're either growing or it's atrophying. And the more that I have to lay around because I can't do my job, I'm used to running 10,000 steps a day as a daily average. That's like 5 miles or something close to it of walking every day. And I don't get that now. I only get a limited amount of walking when I can. And I can't walk near as much as I used to. So I'm either walking or I'm laying on the couch, laid out flat to take the pressure off of that bulge, because if it does put any more pressure on, I could quite literally have permanent nerve damage, which would be miserable. What I have now can be fixed, or at least in theory it should be. If it continues to get worse, then it's permanent and it can't be fixed. And that's going to be a major, major problem that I do not want to have. So that's how it affects me. I'm going to have to go in, get surgery. It's a wonderful miracle what they've done with microscopes and lasers and orthoscopic surgery, and not having to cut away flesh and muscle mass and things like that. And really the things that cause a long recovery, they don't really have to do that very much. They can use probes, they can maneuver past the muscle tissue, or if they do need to make an incision, it's very, very, very small because of the cameras and the microscopes and all the tools that they use now. The funny part is it's actually very similar to safe work. When we're doing safe work, you're drilling a tiny hole in the perfect spot to make a surgical precision drill point in there, and then if you did everything right, that'll usually open the container up because you're drilling out what's preventing it from locking. So that's kind of cool. I just drew those two things together right there. But how does that work for work-wise? Well, luckily, I'm very blessed. I have 2 technicians. We have 4 service trucks now. So the guys will be able to continue. They'll be able to go run their calls. They'll be able to, I basically have a crock pot business. I can literally set it and forget it. I can set it and let these guys go and kind of step back and let things go as they will. And if there's a major thing that happens or a real big decision that needs to be made, I'm not that far away. I'm a phone call away. We can be involved to help make that decision. As far as recovery goes, I'm going to be down and not be able to work for 6 to 8 weeks. That can hurt some people. That a lot of people don't have savings, and if you don't have savings, you're not going to be prepared, and you're not going to be ready for this, and now you're not going to work, and your bills are going to keep coming, and you're not going to be able to pay them. Hopefully you have enough put away to where you can manage that. Now that comes into play both personally and for the business side. You should be putting money away. If you don't have a retirement account, if you don't have a savings account, if you don't have access to $10,000 or $20,000, depending on what your income is, if you don't have access to 6 months of income, you're going to be in big trouble. And I would be in big trouble if we didn't have a retirement account set up, a savings account set up, and some of these other things to be able to move money around and compensate while I'm down. Because I am a tax on the company now. If I I'm not contributing to the company's income daily like I normally am, but I'm drawing a paycheck. So what I'll do to kind of level out the business is actually I'll just withdraw, and I won't collect for the time while I'm completely off, and that'll save the business some money. It'll save my payroll expenses, and the business will have that much more cushion to run on its own with that funding. And then personally, we'll be able to just live off of some of the savings and some of the other savings accounts that we have for that. And that's why it's so important, because this came out of nowhere. I mean, literally, one day you're able to run, 10, 12-hour days, just run crazy, go, run 12, 15 calls a day. And the next, I can barely run one call, unfortunately. It's been a slow progression. This wasn't a snap, crackle, pop. This injury is actually fairly old, too. This injury came from the oil field. A lot of people think that it came from moving safes, because that's what I show and that's what I teach and that's what we do. It doesn't have anything to do with moving safes, really, I don't believe. It really all stems from the oil field and the bouncing in the heavy equipment and bulldozers and excavators and motor graders and loaders and all of that heavy equipment. It takes young backs and it compresses them and bounces them and spits them out after 10 years or a decade. So it's those problems coming back and re-haunting me, unfortunately. And we just can't get it to go back. We've tried all the chiropractors in the area. Yes, chiropractic is great. It's not working for this one. Yes, chiropractic is great, and I will continue to use it after. And I used it plenty before. I probably saw a chiropractor at least once a month, if not more often. It's just not... The disc is degenerated too much to where that's not helping anymore. The body's not healing itself. Massage therapy, we've got one of the best massage therapists on the planet, or at least in the area here. She does great, and not helping with this injury either. Traction therapy, inversion table, I have one. I use it 2 or 3 times a day now. It's one of the few things that provides relief for me. So that does help. And then PT, physical therapy, we tried all that, and that doesn't seem to be helping either. That's why we've graduated to needing surgery. When we need surgery, we know that we're going to be down for a while, and I'm basically not going to be able to do anything for at least a week or two, probably a little bit more. And in that case, I have to be prepared for that. So I will give more information as it comes. I will try and keep you updated and informed. If this is happening to you, I feel your pain, quite literally. It's no fun at all. This is a deep nerve root pain. Basically, the things that sense pain in our body, the nerves, literally, I have something squishing right against that and holding it and pinning it up against the wall. And so I may just move one way and I'll get an electric shock. Just like that's what it feels like, a bolt of lightning running down my leg, and it'll pinch and, I'll twitch real quick, and it's less than fun. But anyways, that's just what's working for me. So walking seems to be working for me. And then I've got to lay down quite a bit of the day so that I'm not putting pressure on that spine. And I keep down to less than 30 minutes or so a day, or once or twice a day. But that's it. So if you have any questions, just put them in the comment box below. I'll try and answer them if I can. And I'm just documenting what I do, and I hope it helps somebody else out there. This is absolutely miserable, and hopefully you have a good support team around you to help you through that time. And luckily I do. Outlook is everything, and I am grateful. Everybody gets something handed to them. Everybody gets dealt a poor hand at the life game of poker, if you will. And this is my poor hand. So it's a matter of how you play it. I could look at this and say, oh, poor me, and all these other things, and this shouldn't be happening, and why is this happening to me, blah, blah, blah. Those are all a waste of time. Those questions don't help anybody or do anything. What can I do and how I play this hand, that's what actually matters. And the way that I'm playing it is I have built a team around me that can work and function without me. This couldn't have happened, 5 years ago. I didn't have the support, I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the employees, and I wasn't ready for it yet. So quite literally, there's no better timing for something like this to happen. And this is fixable. After surgery, I should be back to pretty much 100% back to normal. So really, it's a minor inconvenience at the time. Some people just say, oh, surgery, it's over. You're going to constantly have back problems as soon as they cut on you. There's really no other option. I'm getting to the point where I can barely walk. So I have to have this. But anyways, I will continue to keep you informed along the way as we make progress. And I'll let you know how it goes. We'll go in for surgery, and I'll let you know how that goes, what it's like the next day, pain levels, just some of the different things that are associated with it, and then how we get back on track. I can tell you this, though. One of the things that I do understand is the physical therapy movements that don't continue the injury. For me, I'm able to use some of those exercises that do not worsen the problem, but rather strengthen the muscles in that area, such as planking, push-ups in that push-up position, and just holding there and planking really strengthens the core. I've got an inversion table. Inversion table is my best friend right now. That is like pure cold blue relief. I love that inversion machine. Getting a walk every day is really important, and just maintaining movement and activity. If I just lay around, my muscles are going to get that much weaker, and there's going to be weak muscles holding those bones and joints back together again. That's the main problem with it. So making sure that we keep that core strong right up until surgery, as much as I can physically, as much physical activity as I can do up until then, is going to be the key deciding factor. And then being down for 2 weeks, those muscles are going to continue to atrophy. So hopefully we've got them built up strong enough to where they'll kind of go back to where they were before, and there's really no difference. Now we have a strongly back. Now we have all of those things that we need to be able to function again. So mostly, hopefully your personal finances are in order. Hopefully you're acknowledging the severity of it. I don't know the severity of yours. I know the severity of mine is at the point where if they don't do something and don't intervene as soon as possible, I will have permanent damage, and then I will live with this forever, and that does not look, feel, or sound very good at all. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Check out the links below. If you have any questions, shoot those down below, and we'll go ahead and answer them as we can. Thank you for watching. I hope this really informed you. Again, I am not a doctor. I am not offering advice in any way, shape, or form. All I'm doing is, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what's working for me. If you choose to use some of those things for you, consult your doctor about it and go from there. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you after the surgery. We might do one more pre-op one just to kind of go over that, but here in the next episode or two, will be post-surgery, and we'll see what that's like. Hey there, this is Wayne, and I've got some not so good news. Unfortunately, we've got a L5-S1 lumbar spine joint or disc that is bulging or herniated pretty severely, and putting a tremendous amount of pressure on my sciatic nerve, which is then going down my left leg and causing a very, very significant amount of pain and limiting what I can do. However, we still have some projects and some things that we need to do. I've reduced my physical activity by about 80%, and what actually lets me get my 20% are these back braces. So here is a Max AR. This one is from Max AR. It's got some magnets and stuff in it. This one's kind of a soft back brace. So this one kind of goes on first, and I just normally put this thing on. I like it because it does have the magnets in the back. I don't know if you think that works or not, but it's got this larger portion here where those magnets are. And then most importantly with the back brace, you need the additional, so it should Velcro once, like so. And then you have these additional straps, and these are really where you get all of that power or all of that strength from. So make sure that this is nice and even, and then I bring that one around, and then bring that one around, and now that fits nice and tight, and then we just go ahead and tuck that in. Usually wear that one under the shirt, like so, and then you really can't see it. Okay, so that's one portion of it here, and it feels really good. It actually does help quite a bit. I've got this one, and then I've got another one that I put on top of that one, but for just around the house stuff, this one seems to work pretty good. Alrighty, and then the other brace that I'm using is this Brace Ability one right here. Okay, Brace Ability. This one is really hard and rigid and kind of bulky, but this one actually does the most work and carries the most weight. What it does is it goes on, and it's got this contoured lumbar spine thing here, so it does help your lumbar at all times, and it's very rigid. Then it just kind of goes around the front like that, and then this side comes in, and again we have those straps to really help set things down, and that one goes all the way across. And the really nice part about this is it has this Velcro right here all the way to the other side, so we can pull nice and tight like that. So what this does is it allows me to work and sit throughout the day. When I'm sitting or when I'm standing, what it does is it takes basically all of the weight from here. I can feel that hard plate sit right up against my ribs and this portion on my back. So it basically takes the weight of my torso and puts it directly onto my hips. So it takes the weight off of that lumbar spine and off of that herniated disc. Yes, it is not fun. Yes, I'm getting things looked at. We've had some injections done, some other stuff, some steroid injections and whatnot. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that stuff is working at this point in time. We're going to continue to do PT and physical therapy and traction and all kinds of stuff. But the only way, literally the only way I can get around right now is by having this. If I don't wear this, I can't sit for more than maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Can't really stand. With this, I can walk, I can go out. It keeps me from bending over. It keeps me from bending that particular lumbar spine. It makes the upper back do more of the work. So if you have lumbar issues and they're really, really bothering you, and you've got one kind of really, really screaming at you right now, just pushing on that nerve or causing a lot of pain, this right here is the only way that I can still get around. And even in the house, I can wear it, and it just keeps the weight off of that particular disc. This is the only thing that really gives me comfort and relief, is using these things in both at the same time. So check it out. I'll put a link down below, Amazon link. I am an affiliate, but I'm 100% using this. I don't ever affiliate anything that we don't use. I use it first, and then I recommend it if it works for me. So I'll post that link here down below.